Hey guys, it's Krista here from CMA Creations for another tutorial today. Today's tutorial is going to be on the lava drip cups. So let's get started. But before we do, make sure you hit that follow, give that notification bell a tick so that you get notified. And if you're not subscribed to my channel, go ahead and subscribe. Go ahead and subscribe as well. Tongue twisting. So let's get started. What you're going to need today for lava drip. So you are going to need baby oil. You are going to need a vegetable glycerin. You're going to need your tumbler, obviously, and I'm going to talk to you a little bit about your tumblers and your hole placements on your tumblers. You're also going to need food coloring. So depending on what color you want to make your lava, find those colors. If you were wanting a translucent lava drip, you will not need white. If you do want more of an opaque lava drip, you're definitely going to need some white food coloring. You don't need a lot. One drop does the trick, but you will need that. All right. And for this lava drip, I'm going to add some glitter in per the customer's request. So let's get going. Come on. All right. So I have my tumbler, and I am doing this in a glass handled one. And here's the important part about lava drips. Lava drips, because you're dealing with oil, are very, very temperamental. I do not recommend this as the first time you are getting ready to do any kind of a snow globe. Don't start with lava drips because they are not the easiest to play with. People get frustrated very, very fast, very, very quickly, especially with the oil, because the oil is going to cause you havoc. You're definitely going to need resin as well to close your hole, but that's obvious. You're going to close your hole with resin all the time with any of these types of cups. You're going to want to find cups that have the hole placement typically towards the side of the cup. If it is in the middle, which is fine, as long as there's not a large dip or the bottom of the cup isn't really deeply concaved. The 16-ounce cups that I have are very concaved, so it won't allow you to fill the entire cup up with oil. Oil is extremely thin. I have tried every tactic to try to get air out and oil in, and it doesn't work because oil is just so thin. I've had numerous people send me videos. It works great when you're working with a thicker solution, magic liquid, glue, anything on that line, but oil is just so thin, it's just not going to work. Trust me when I say I've tried everything. We've even tried doing like air pressure, and that didn't work either. So let's get started. So I'm just going to grab my glitter right quick because I forgot to grab that in advance. And this customer wanted the dark teal, which is called Jamaica. My glitter is from LMNOP Design Boutique. I will put them down in the description. The tumbler is from, this one specifically is from Vinyl Fun for Everyone. However, Mr. Marshall from Marshall Made Tumblers, which is where I get all my tumblers from, he now carries this style. However, he carries 3 glass handled styles, the 16-ounce and the 15-ounce. The hole is in the middle with a large dip, so you can't use that handled glass for the lava. But the 20-ounce that he now carries, the hole is off to the side, so those will be perfect for lava, okay? Plain 25-ounce glass from Mr. Marshall work for lava drips as well because the hole's off to the side, but the 16-ounce will not. Learn from me and don't waste your money because it won't work. All right, so first things first is I'm going to add some glitter into this. Now, keep in mind, when you are doing glitter in a lava drip cup or adding anything into a lava drip, depending on the weight of whatever you're adding, it's going to separate in multiple different ways. It's either going to sink all the way to the bottom it'll either float on top of the glycerin but beneath the oil, or it's going to float on top of the oil. So this one in particular, I know typically floats right in between the glycerin because it's lighter than the glycerin but heavier than the oil. People ask me all the time, can you add glow? Can you do this? You can, but it is heavier than all the other liquids. So it is eventually going to separate and sink. If you shake it up really good, it'll mix back in, but it is going to sink, all right? So I'm gonna add some glitter in, and we're not putting a lot because we just want the look of it. It's not really supposed to be intended as a snow globe. It's the lava. She just wanted that extra sparkle of glitter in her cup, which is fine. So you don't need a whole lot. I usually put about probably 2 little funnels. So maybe like 2 teaspoons worth of glitter in. This is a really small funnel, so I'm gonna say it's probably equals about 2 teaspoons, maybe 1 tablespoon of glitter. I don't know how well that really helps, but I'll show you once it gets in so that you can see how much glitter is actually down inside the cup once I shake it down. Just let me get it all in there. We'll make sure that it's exactly what it is, what I'm wanting. Again, it's for look. It's not really to be flowing all the way through. Yeah, that's perfect. That's a good amount right there. Just a little bit, just enough to cover the bottom. You don't want too much because it'll overpower it. And you want to be able to see the lava drip. So she wants a hot pink lava. I always put my oil in my cups first. Do you have to? Absolutely 100% not. Does it make a difference? No. I always feel like the glycerin flows better if the cup has oil in it. So I'm going to put a little bit of oil in. I'm not going to fill it all the way with the oil. And then we will start adding in the glycerin. I'm just going to try something a little different than I normally do. And she wants hot pink. So I have, I literally have a neon pink coloring. And we're going to put a drop of white because she does want it to be opaque. All right, I'm going to just put that there. I'm going to add my glycerin. Now, I get my glycerin off of Amazon. This is the brand that I am currently using. It's called Now. I buy the big, huge jugs just because it's more affordable. And for this size cup, I'm going to mix up about 75 to 80 mLs. Actually, let's go with 80 mLs of glycerin. If you don't use it all, it's fine. You could just rinse it down the sink, no big deal. I always like to make a little bit more because I don't want to have to remake it again later on because then the colors don't ever tend to match up properly. So I'm going to add 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 drops of the pink. And literally, I'm adding 1 drop of the white. You just want just a drop to make it so that it is, opaque. And I'm just going to use my little mixer. Do you need one of these? No, you don't. I just find that it just helps to mix it up faster. So I get it mixed pretty well. The liquid's really thick, so the mixer doesn't like to spin when you get it down to the bottom of the cup. So I kind of just hand mix it. I get it going, and then I hand mix it the rest of the way. You do you, Beau. If you want to hand mix it the entire way, go for it. You don't have to use one of these little mixers. I just find that the mixer makes it just a little bit easier. And it makes it go by just a little bit faster. So it looks perfect. This is like the perfect color pink that she wants. This is a remake that I'm doing for this customer. A relative of hers stuck her cup in the dishwasher. You can't put these types of cups in the dishwasher. It will ruin them. And she learned the hard way. She was really upset, and I told her I would just remake it for her. So we're going to remake it. All right, so I'm going to add some baby oil. I just have my baby oil in a squeeze bottle because I find that it's much easier without making a mess because, again, baby oil causes for everything to get super sticky and messy. And then it ends up making it much, much harder for you to get it closed up at the end. And I find that using this little squirt bottle has become like my next best friend, because I was using one of the syringes, and I was making a mess all over the place. So yeah, I moved to using this handy dandy little squeeze bottle, and it has been a lifesaver ever since. So you're going to constantly want to try to keep that whole area clean, because like I said, you don't want to get any baby oil on anything if you can possibly help it, because it will cause you problems when it comes time to close the hole. I'm just shaking it up to get that glitter moving some. I want to make sure it's not going to stick, oh, ow, not stick to the bottom of the cup. I don't want it sticking to up to the rim, so I'm just moving it around. You don't have to do that. I'm just choosing to because I stuck the glitter in first. I don't normally do it that way, but I think it's going to make it better in the long run. So now I am going to grab a syringe and I am going to start sucking up that glycerin mix I made. And we're going to squeeze it in. Now, glycerin's super thick, so take your time. The nice part about this glass, the whole area is actually quite large. So getting the liquids in is a lot easier than normal. On the acrylic cups, the holes are much smaller. Not the holes, I'm sorry, the walls of the acrylic are much smaller. So it's a lot harder to get the acrylic to flow down. On the glass cups, the walls are a lot thicker. They're a lot wider, so there's a lot more airspace in between. So the glycerin and the baby oil seem to run down a lot faster and don't cause you to have a lot of bubbling coming up. All right. So I'm just going to keep going here. You're just going to keep adding it all the way until it gets to back all the way up to the top. And if I overfill, so I'm just pulling it back out, letting all of that glycerin drip down the side as best I can. And again, you're just going to keep filling and keep emptying all of it into the cup. And as you do that, you'll notice, you know, obviously the glycerins fall into the bottom because it's heavier than the oil. The oil's starting to float up to the top, and that is all fine. That's the way it's supposed to do it. That's exactly what's supposed to happen. And I'm leaning the cup away from the hole, so this way, as I'm filling in the glycerin, I can see where I'm at my levels to make sure my levels are rising and they're not going to overflow. I want to make sure I can get as much in as I possibly can. When it comes to drip style, meaning fast or slow, the more glycerin you use, the slower your drip will be, along with the air pocket you leave. You have to leave an air bubble. If you want an incredibly, incredibly slow drip, like stare at it forever before it actually drips, you are going to want the smallest of air pockets, air bubbles, whatever you want to call it, and more glycerin than oil. Now, with me saying that, there's only so much glycerin and so much oil you can get into the cup based upon wherever the hole is. So sometimes you may want to have more, but you ain't getting more just because of the way the cup is shaped, where the hole is placed, and so on and so forth. Right now, I have probably about a nickel size air bubble, which is actually really, really good. I am going to try to drop in just a little tiny bit more of the glycerin because I still have a little bit left in this little dispenser. I don't know if I'll be able to, but I am going to try. Nope, it's backing out. So we're as best as it's going to get. But let me just tell you, it is a small air bubble, really small. Yeah, it's about the size of a nickel, which is perfect. We got plenty of lava in there. There's plenty of oil in there. The glitter is doing exactly what it's supposed to. So let me get this cleaned up, seal it, and then we can show you the lava in action. All right, so just like with all the other cups, all the other snow globes, you are gonna clean the bottom of that cup with alcohol. So you're gonna go ahead, either use a spray bottle, or if you have like alcohol wipes, whatever you have, but you wanna clean that whole area as best you can. Now, difference between lava drip cups and the snow globes with glitter for sealing purposes, you absolutely 100% want to use a plug to seal that hole. The cups from Mr. Marshall come with a plug. Yay! So it's perfect. And you're gonna pop that plug in, which is what I just did. I'm gonna clean the top of that cup one more time now that I got that plug in there, just in case any oil came out when I pushed it in. Sometimes it does, sometimes it don't. It just depends. All right, we are clean. You can hear it squeaking. It's like squeaky, squeaky, squeaky. All right, so we're gonna put a little bit of the UV resin on, just like we did in my other tutorials. This is my go-to. Not everybody likes UV resin, but for these types of cups, I prefer it. Again, I use Resin Rockers, and I don't have a code for Resin Rockers, but maybe one day I will. But right now I don't have a code, but when you're first starting off, they do have a small bottle. I highly recommend get the small bottle. See if you like it before you go crazy and buy this big, huge bottle, because the big bottle is very expensive. But if you're going to be doing them all the time, it's well worth buying the larger bottle. Trust me. I was being stupid and I was buying the smaller bottle. And I finally broke down and bought the big bottle, and I'm very grateful I did, because it lasted so much longer. Because the smaller bottles, I was having to buy them every other week, because I was going through it like crazy. All right. The one thing you want to try not to do is you want to try never to move your cup once you have the oil in, because you take the chance of the oil moving and coming up through the plug. So don't do what I just did. I just did it very, very carefully. So I hit it with a little bit of heat to pop any micro bubbles that there might have been in the resin. And now I am going to cure it for 90 seconds. Once I cure it for 90 seconds, it'll then be sealed. And because there's glitter in this, I'm actually going to put a little glitter in a little cup. And I'm going to glitter the bottom of this cup. I think it'll look cute. You don't need a whole lot. Just a little tiny bit. I mean, little tiny bit. Like, look how little I put in there. And we're going to add some resin to that cup. And there's not a whole lot of space on the bottom of this cup, so you don't need a whole lot of resin, because you're going to make your layers that you put on there very, very thin, so that it doesn't cause the bottom of the cup to bubble and get wobbly, which can and will happen. Just keep in mind, you know, anytime you add anything that's going to cause it to potentially get warpy, you always just want to try to make sure that you want to keep it as level as possible and as flat as possible. So, all right, so I have a little tiny bit of resin to put on. I am making a mess over here on my table. Let me just clean this little bit of mess up that I just made while that is curing. All right. I think we're good. All right, so let's put that down over here for right now. And I'm just going to touch it to make sure it cured, and it cured fine. All right, so that little tiny bit of resin that I made up with the glitter in it, I'm just going to pour that on here. And I made a very, very little amount. We're just going to spread it out as best we can. Again, this is just for show, and I really do this more so that I can cover up the plug, because the plug is white, so it stands out like a sore thumb. So I'm going to drop glitter right on that area, and then I'm going to kind of just whoosh around the rest of the glitter, just so that it looks like there's glitter all along the bottom. Do you have to add the glitter? No. I normally would not add glitter if it was just plain lava. I would color the resin with whatever color the lava drip was. But because this cup specifically had glitter in it, I thought it would look cute if I added a little glitter to the bottom of the cup. And that's good enough because, like I said, we don't want anything major because we're going to put one more thin layer. So we're going to hit this with the heat again, just to make sure that it lays flat. And we're going to do that again. We're going to give it a cure. So we're going to cure that up again. Once that's done, we'll put one more thin layer of resin, and then we can watch this bad boy in action. I really like the lava cups. I've tried the lava cups in many different ways. I've tried making it in many different ways for everybody. I tried doing dual colors, and they look beautiful for a couple weeks. And then they separate, and not separate, but the oil-based dye that you put in, that you would have to put in the oil, for whatever reason, it eventually seeps into the glycerin, and it disappears. So your oil becomes pure color again. So it doesn't last long, so I stopped making them. I am still trying to figure out the formula, and it's a science. And one day I'll figure it out, and I'll be able to do dual draught lava drips again. They are extremely popular. People absolutely love them. But this was a dual drip lava cup. This was pink and purple. And as you can see, the pink that was in the oil is completely gone. And it's all purple and clear now. So, yeah, it doesn't work. It works for a short period of time, and then it stops. So, all right. Last time. All right, so one last time, we're going to put one last layer of just clear right over top. And again, you don't need a whole lot because the bottom of the cup is not real super thick. There's not a big dip. So I'm going to swish this around, and I'm going to push it out to the edge of the lip of the cup just to make it look nice and flat and pretty. If you ever have any questions about any of these techniques that I do, you can always leave them in the comments below. If you like my videos, to help me out with my algorithm, whatever, however you say it, I can't even say the word, here on TikTok, give me a thumbs up as well, like my videos. It helps me, and it helps so that YouTube will push my videos out to other viewers, and get me out there. That'd be great if you would. If you don't want to, don't. If you don't like my video, give me a thumbs down. I mean, I hope you don't do that, but if you do, you do. You do you. I try to answer all the comments, as long as they are, you know, pertaining to something that I'm working on, or if it's something that I can help you with, I will always answer. But, you know, just like anything, if the comment is not something I'm willing to talk about, I'm not going to answer it. So that's done, and we are going to hit it one more time with that heat. Come on. I need some butane in my lighter. It's getting low, so I'm having to get too close to my... All right, so she is like a sheet of glass down there. All right, so we are going to cure her. I'm going to put my bottle over here. I am going to just put away some of my stuff to clean up my area a little bit. I always try to keep my area as clean as I can, for no other reason except for if I don't, I tend to end up spilling. I end up spilling something. And, you know, when you're working with oil and glycerin, the last thing you want to do is spill something, because that's the worst. Especially those two solutions, because you'll be cleaning forever. I spilled some oil over there underneath where my camera is, and I keep cleaning it, and I swear I keep finding more oil. I don't know why, but I feel like I do. I'm probably just imagining it, but it just feels like I keep finding more oil every time I turn around. But it is what it is. All right, so got about 30 seconds left on this, and she's done. So at this point, what you would do is, if you're putting a decal on her, you're gonna clean the body of the cup, obviously, with some alcohol, rubbing alcohol. Clean it up really, really good. Let it dry, and then you're gonna apply your decal or wrap, whatever you're doing. And voila, they're done. I always leave them sitting on the butt for at least 24 hours on the area that you sealed to make sure there's no leaking. And if there's no leaking, then you're good to send that out to your customer. At least that's what I do. Let me just clean her up a little bit, because I can feel the glycerin on my hands. I can feel that oiliness on my hands. So I'm gonna just clean that up right quick. And then I'm gonna clean the cup up really, really well. People ask me, why is there still pink up at the top? Well, it's the glycerin that sat on the top of the cup when I put it in, so it's still sitting there. If I hold my cup this way, it'll all start sliding down, as you can see. All right, and we're good. All right, you ready? Let's see her in action. And there she goes. She is moving. Let's see. Get the drips moving. She's slow, which, like I said, I didn't have a real big air bubble, so she's going to move a lot slower. If you shake her, she's going to shake up really good, but she will eventually separate. I can kind of give you a show of that, so I'm going to shake her up really good, kind of get that glitter moving in there, the oil moving up to the top, moving up to the bottom, just kind of moving all over the place. And get her going again, and she's moving. So she's flowing all the way down. We'll give it a minute, and then I will move her back the other way. I love watching them flow. That's probably like my favorite part. And as you can see, it doesn't look like I put a whole lot of glycerin in. It's because the space on these glass cups, there's a lot of empty space here. So a lot of the glycerin pocket is sitting here. Probably about that much of it is sitting there. So that's why when I had it the other way, it looked like there was so much glycerin and so little oil. And it's just because of that reason, because of that pocket down at the bottom of the cup. So we're just gonna let it settle down a little bit. The longer you let this sit, obviously the colors will separate more and more, and eventually what will happen is the top half will be clear. It'll look crystal clear because all the glycerin has now settled back down to the glycerin, and it looks really, really cool. That's that's the coolest part about a lava drip cup. Let me show you one I have over here that I did that's in blue. Let me just take the lid off of it. This one I was trying to do glow powder in, and it didn't really work really well. But see how clear it is from the separation? But yeah, so that's like the effect that you're looking for. You'll see the dripping going on over here. So you could do the drip in all different colors. This one has nothing else in it except for glow. It didn't do what I wanted it to do, but that's the whole point. When you're crafting, you got to try new things, try different things, see if it works. If it don't work, it don't work, and you try something else. But yeah, I mean, it worked. I mean, it glows. The problem is, again, is the glow liquid. I thought was going to be perfect. The glow liquid is just as thick as glow powder. So it all sat to the bottom. You could see it sitting on the bottom there. See like that residue? That's the glow. But yeah, so you got that going on. And when you flip it back up this way, so got it all going on there. But here you go. So we're just letting that settle a little bit. All right, so that's the best it's going to get for right now because it's going to take a long time for it to finish settling out because I shook it. So again, I'll flip it up so you guys can see it in action. And just give it a minute and it'll start flowing down again. Just takes time for it to start working its way down. You know, gravity's got to do its thing. But you can see it starting to move over here. You can see that glitter moving up the cup. And the glycerin's dripping down. And voila, you have your lava drip cup with glitter. Isn't she pretty? There you go, guys. All right, well, that's it for today's tutorial. That's a lava drip. If you have questions, please drop them down in the comments below. Don't forget to give me a thumbs up. Definitely don't forget to hit that notification bell so that you know when I post a video. And yeah, I'll be back. Catch you in the next video. Bye, everybody.